recap. I am Laz, and I'm filling in for Scott this afternoon. Also, make sure to check me out tomorrow at the morning call, myself and Gio Malangino from TheStreet.com. Bringing it to you live tomorrow a.m. So let's recap today. What can we say that I didn't say 2 days ago, or that hasn't been said already? You have a very interesting marketplace. I call this the JOB market, not because unemployment is so good. It's because the JOB means junk off the bottom. That's where money is being made, junk off the bottom. What does that mean? Well, it means that the market has been viciously going after stocks that have seen just brutal, intense sell-offs over the last 12 to 18 months. Stocks like Bank of America, Netflix, some of the rare earth symbols that were beaten, battered, and bruised. Various banks besides Bank of America. There's just a handful of stocks that are just getting that trade off the bottom. GMCR. We can take a look in just a minute at some of those symbols just to see where they are, because that's where money has been made over the since basically the beginning of the new year. The market itself, the S&Ps, let's go to the charts here. Let's take a quick look. This is a daily, the S&P 500, and riding this 8-period MA, very bullish looking, but intraday, not really a lot of momentum. If we look at a more of a smaller time frame, let's look at an hourly chart. Here's a 60-minute chart. We can go back. I'm going to bring up the spiders actually here. Let's go to the beginning of the year. Here's the beginning of the year where my mouse is. And we are higher, but really just fractionally, and with not a lot of not a lot of momentum here. There's really no momentum. We gapped up into the beginning of the new year. We based for a few days. We gapped up again the beginning of this week, and again at the same place we were on Monday. So hasn't been a real powerful thrusting type of trade. Very controlled. The gains are coming overnight. There's really not a lot of money being made intraday here in the S&P future markets and the broader indexes. The money's being made really in specific symbols, and we'll go back to the daily chart here. Let's take a look at things that are setting up. Apple here. It's been our cash cow, for lack of a better phrase, on the virtual trading floor. Real nice uptrend, a lot of power in this move. 2-day pullback here. Let's keep an eye on this bottoming tail that we got today. Could lead to, again, new potential highs. Might need a little bit more basing, as this really was a very powerful move that might take some more time to consolidate. But we like this stock into earnings soon, so we are expecting good things here, and the money is being made primarily to the long side. That's where the opportunity is, so we'll continue to monitor that one. Interesting that just 2 weeks ago we were talking about Google really being strong. Well, the song has changed over the last couple of days. Is this a pullback that will get bought, or is something changing here? Very ominous looking big sell-off a couple days ago on pretty substantial volume for this stock. So something we need to monitor. I wouldn't just step in. If you're a tier one or you're looking to buy pullbacks, probably a good place to consider being a buyer. If it were to take out the pivots down here at like 615, I probably would step aside and reevaluate. As this is pretty substantial actually. I really expected more of a pullback into this average, where usually we'll see buyers step back in, dip buyers, but pretty substantial down move here in Google. So let's reevaluate that one as the days come. Netflix, our other big winner from last week into this week. Big powerful move here on the daily chart. Contracting that move, we saw move from basically 65 to 100. That's a 50% move plus or minus in just a couple of days. This is going to take time. If this leg is going to go higher and we're going to see another trade here, it's probably going to consolidate for the better part of a week or two before dip buyers step in. I'd like to see it pull back to this average, which is right now around 85, 86, before I consider being a buyer here again, as this is something you got to be careful with. There's a lot of momentum here, but when that momentum dies, you just need to be hands off until it sets up again, at which point it hasn't done. Goldman Sachs, some of the banks seeing a lift again, not tremendous power intraday. but we are seeing higher highs here. Bank of America, really the best one, trading wise. It's actually you're getting that intraday momentum to kick in. Where can it go? I think that obviously we have to be realistic here. There's still a lot of fundamental problems here, but we could see a trade back to that 7 to 750 area, this prior pivot high in the short term. I probably would be very, very careful about being a buyer at this level. Smart money probably isn't chasing this stock. I think you'll have plenty of time to buy a pullback or even some sort of consolidation, in the days and weeks to come for a better entry than chasing momentum. You don't want to chase momentum. You don't want to chase anything for that matter in this market. So keep an eye on the banks in the days to come. They are seeing a bid. Again, that junk off the bottom type of trade. Another thing I want to cover, and I'll go over it a little bit more in depth tomorrow, is this IBM. IBM, a bellwether, big cap tech stock. A lot of eyeballs on IBM. Very interesting looking structure here, something I would take cautious of. This to me looks like a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern forming. We've seen this pattern various times. You have a little bit of a left shoulder up here, top of a head up here, and a right shoulder up here. Holding support today. You can see this rising trend line. We're going to call that short-term support. A break of that could produce some sort of larger downdraft in this stock. It's something I think that we want to keep an eye on as a gauge for big cap tech going forward. Definitely something I'm going to watch going forward. Another stock that I think worth watching, and again we'll cover this tomorrow, so I'm sort of just giving you a little bit of an insight into tomorrow, is this potash, part of the junk off the bottom crowd. You can see the weekly chart here. Potash, a one-time high flyer. Really didn't do a whole lot of anything last year. It actually went down for the better part of the second half of last year. The chart to me it's not really anything more than just a trading vehicle at this point. This is sort of our weekly rising trend line. We broke that late last year, and we could be snapping back. I think potash could be good for a trade, maybe back to 46, 47 area up into here. In the short term, you can see it's catching a bid here on the daily, and it looks like it's trying to break out above this, resistance area, poking its head out ever so slightly today. Something I think, we could see a short-term quick trade in to the long side. So keep an eye on that one going forward as well. Not much else to report. Again, it is a stock picker's tape right now. We're not seeing that, broader market thrust. It's just not happening. It's really more stock-specific, stock-driven. Today's winner, First Solar. Again, part of that junk off the bottom crowd. This is what we call a catch play. If you don't know what a catch play is, we teach that in our active trader class. So, this setup right here is what we call a catch play. And it can have a very powerful result if you're on top of it. FSLR seeing a trade back up to fill this gap today. Rallied right into that gap fill. You can see this open gap right here. And then tailed down slightly towards the end of the day. I think this move is probably, maybe over for the short term. Again, you see a 3 to 5 day pullback or contraction. We could see some more buyers step in there. But again, a lot of these stocks that we sort of, swept under the rug into last year, FSLR and Netflix and GMCR, and like I said earlier, coming back to life over the last week and into this new year. That's where the money's being made. So let's keep an eye on those stocks in the days and weeks ahead. Is that, like I said, you got to follow the money in this business, especially if you're a short-term trader, and that's where money is being made. So let's not talk about anything except opportunity, and that's where opportunity lies. I will see you tomorrow in the morning call. As always, a planned trader is a profitable trader. I'm Laz, and have a great night.